see some voids. That is true.
In the bottom left, my boy from Croatia, 4 years old, with a dream, just to qualify for a DreamHack. He is the Blue Protoss player from Team Rutty. It's Goblin.
In the top right, trying to break Roddy's heart and Goblin's heart at the same time. Playing for Cascade, it is DnS. Now, I tell you, Grant, this map is quite the interesting PvP map because right now I'm seeing a clash of two metas right now where I think both players are going to Gateway Scout because on this map you need to make sure they can't get a fast expansion. We do see Goblin not Gateway Scout. We do see the Gateway Scout coming in from DnS. This looks like a 1-gate expand from DnS, and I do like the 1-gate expand on this map versus Protoss, but the games usually get kind of weird. A lot of games lately, the people know this is how it plays out, so what ends up happening is you both 1-gate expand, and then you both block each other, and then there's some cybernetics core blocks, and then you make a zealot to clear out everything. It gets weird. But now we don't have that at all. It looks like a standard opener from Goblin, and Goblin did not go across the map, so we're going to see the gate expand coming in from DnS, and we are not going to be seeing it from Goblin. And I will say, I have seen some of Goblin's Void Rays memes, and he turns, like, he makes them like harass units.
Yes.
You know, he's just sharking around with like 4 Void Rays and then 8 Void Rays on the other side. It's just cool stuff.
The other thing with Goblin's Void Rays is his ability to micro them. Almost like, you know when you see oracles and they're like stutter step, almost? Goblin can do that with Void Rays, and it just doesn't make sense, because I try it, and I'm like a twat. Like, it just does not work at all. Goblin, on the other hand, has been very good with it. Now, obviously, we still don't know if it is going to be that. One thing that was talked about is nobody expects Goblin right now to just go 3-gate Robo. So go 3-gate Robo. Like, no one is going to expect it, or for him to just 4-gate, do something ridiculous, because everyone is going, he's going Void Rays. He's given himself that name as the Void Raid guy, and he's going to be the Void Raid guy.
This actually could still be a Void Raid rush. This is something, you know, I hate to bring too many personal experiences into it, but the other day I took like a minus 58 on this map, because I went for a 1-gate expand, and then the guy went Void Ray Rush on me, and it's actually pretty good because you do play into the fast expand meta, and I think Goblin's going to see this natural, and he's going to consider going for that Shield Battery Rush right below it, because it actually, you can get overwhelmed with Void Ray, so we'll see. Maybe it's just an Oracle. Now, okay, nice scout from DnS, he does see it, so. No, I mean, the probe is still around for Goblin. It's not impossible that he goes for the late Shield Battery Rush.
Shocking. Did you see a Stargate coming out here from DnS? See, Chris, have I ever let you down? So what Goblin likes to do is he gets 6 Adepts and a couple of Void Rays and he goes. He is continuing to produce a lot of Adepts. The Adepts, of course, offering a lot of pressure here. A couple of Stalkers will be able to push them by. We do see that Gateway wall completed here with the battery going down. But the Void Ray is nearly done. And he's already queued up another one.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I actually like how DnS has played it so far with the battery in front, his Stalkers in front, and I think Stargate is the perfect response if you get caught. I mean, him scouting the Stargate obviously helps a lot here, but I think Stargate is what you need here because the Void Rays are still going to be a ways away, but I'm not sure if DnS can take this one.
Get in.
You have a 3rd Stalker. Oh yeah, this is where things get really painful.
They're in. He's walled himself out.
Yeah.
DnS can lose workers.
Yeah, he's not going to be mining gas. Either of these Adepts are going to be so valuable. And it's not just these 2 Adepts. He's going to be cooking the front, getting those shield batteries down as well. He's going for the cybernetics core? Okay, yeah. He's going to take
the battery's smart, I'm sure. And here it comes!
Yep.
But meanwhile, 5 workers. This is a great start. The lost mining time was massive. The lost gas mining time is huge. There is a Void Ray coming out here from DnS, but I mean, you know, if you're going to hit the king, you better kill the king. And Goblin, when it comes to Void Rays right now, is the king. So things looking pretty good. His batteries are going to get up, and I think this is the hardest part, is getting those batteries up. He's doing this off of 1 pylon, which is slightly sketchy. But the shield battery in the front will go down. Goblin shades past again. Is he going to get into the main? No. But he may well let this complete, just waddle on down to the natural. No, not going to be the case. He is going to play it safe for now. And now this game gets weird.
I like the full wall from DnS in the main base, because these Adepts actually can become super annoying in gaming. Now, it is 2 Void Rays to 3. We do have the Void Ray numbers, and the shield batteries actually are almost in better position for Goblin, but he still is eventually going to have to push his way in. And he's going for the cybernetics core, which is nice, because then there will be no more batteries being able to be produced.
Yeah, and even Stalkers as well. No more Stalkers being walked in. There's only 1 pylon powering all of this. If Goblin can push in just a little bit, he will be able to unpower all of those gateways. He is continuing production. Of course, behind this, Goblin is mining way less. He's got less workers off of only one base and eventually will run out of money. But Goblin has the better position right now, I would say.
Yeah, he's up a Void Ray. He's up 2 Void Rays right now, although third Void Ray will come out for Goblin. There it is, or DnS. And it's still really hard to push in because these Stalkers are actually giving decent value. Every pot shot every now and again. 2 Stalkers being warped in for Goblin. We just have this funny dance. Neither really wanted to commit. Now we do have a bit of a fight starting. And DnS lost a couple of the depths or something there. But...
He lost 2 Zealots.
Okay, yeah. You know, nobody. You're so scared to push into each other because they both have the bad. No one wants to fight on top of the other guys. Have this dance.
Gateway goes
and
down.
like you said, over time, Goblin's gonna have no money, but it does come down to the Void right now. They are gonna engage, overcharging on top of each other right now. The overcharge was faster for DnS. I think he's gonna win the fight because I don't think Goblin even overcharged there.
No, and the other thing is the shield battery overcharge coming in here, of course, for DnS. Goblin does not have that option. He cannot do it. Throw down the Nexus, Goblin. Do it. Throw it down here. We see Goblin continuing to move around. He knows if he can get the pylons, he'll be in a good spot. It's very tricky. Now, Goblin has the maneuverability here of the Adepts. If he could somehow get them into the mineral line, he could certainly make this a very close game. You can see he is still considering it. He's going to... No, okay.
Still not, but now the Void Ray count is almost in favor of DnS. Oh, the Nexus is coming down, Prox.
Oh my god, he actually did it. Goblin, I was joking, mate. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Now what I want is a second Stargate across. I mean, the Adepts are shading into the back line, and they are going to find 3 workers instantly, but he is going to probably lose all these Adepts. Can he get out of his own? Goblin now looking for probes, it looks like, which is kind of an interesting choice. Now he is going to set up and get a pound at the front. Interesting little skirmish there, because the Adepts trade out, they get 4 workers.
Goblin has more workers. Of course, obviously, he's mining out of his main relatively soon, 150 left on a couple of these patches. But Goblin will have the advantage once this Nexus completes. He's still not going to be in range of Nexus Overcharge, right? Like, it's quite close.
I don't think so, unless it's like on the edge there. I really wouldn't mind a second Stargate coming down from either player.
Like here.
Yeah, especially DnS, he's had the money. I feel like, I don't know, it's tight. You don't really feel like you have the money, and it is hard to squeak out. But second Star, but now the Void Ray count, I mean, it looks good. DnS is in a better spot because the Void Rays are at home as well. He doesn't have to wait for his Void Ray to come home. He's up 1 Void Ray, and there's 1 very bruised Void Ray.
Yes.
For Goblin, and we do have an engagement, and the overcharge. That's all you need.
Big
just
pickup.
Sniping 1. Now Goblin might try to return fire with an overcharge of himself, but now there's probably going to be a Omega battery coming in. So I don't know if Goblin can actually do this.
Omega battery, yeah. Omega battery is off of cooldown here for our red Protoss player. Now Goblin is mining from a natural as well. A proxy Nexus, a hidden base. Goblin's doing something. He is going to be able to maybe take down a couple of these batteries. Doesn't look the case yet. He will get a pylon at least. And I'll power 1 of these gateways and 1 of these batteries. He's going to get a battery as well. That's a nice couple of pickoffs there for a couple of Adepts. Especially because, as we said, Goblin is mining. He can recall probes if he needs to as well, which he should be doing pretty soon. I think, can we see another Void Ray go down? Goblin's lost 3 in total. He's really not been as crisp, possibly, as I've seen him be in the past. No, he has just woken up from a nap. I know that because I had to wake him up. These kids.
I will say, you know, I think this has been a great response from DnS as well. Yes. I don't think Goblin has made too many mistakes. Except, I think in one of the original fights he didn't overcharge his Void Rays, which is kind of critical. And it's now I'm just having a hard time seeing Goblin truly break this army. I mean, there's going to be Guardian Shield up for DnS as well. He's got all these batteries. His base is in a much more convenient location. It does look like the recall came in. What the misclick looks like. Oh no. Oh yeah, he's walled out of his base.
Yeah.
I see. That makes sense.
+1 air weapons coming down here for DnS, and that is going to be the make or break here. If he can get that upgrade, he'll be in such a phenomenal position. Obviously, just trading more efficiently. Purely and simply, he has the same amount of units, and his, well, he has 1 more actually. His will just do more damage. Goblin continuing to throw down pylons, things like that. He is still trying to shade in. He will be able to get this gateway eventually. It is very low. Goblin's doing a good job of keeping his units very compact so that the weak ones cannot be targeted. He's going to get the gateway.
We're finally seeing that second target come in from DnS, and I would have liked to see that a little bit sooner. I mean, We don't need as many probes. We don't need this extra. We didn't really need this extra gateway at the front. I think he could have got this a lot faster. I will say, we might have the fight happening here. Just nice engagements from DnS, finding a little bit here and there. I will say it's very interesting the moves Goblin's doing with these adepts, where he shades them into the mineral line, and then it sets up for
him to dive in with the rest of his units.
Yeah, and like it's 4 probes in the front. I mean, these adepts have kind of kept him in the game. The issue is now it's going to be 2 Stargates. Now we do see a second Stargate coming in from Goblin as well, but
no +1.
The issue is the Void Rays are much closer from DnS. The Stargate is pretty far away from Goblin, and this is looking more and more good for DnS the longer it goes. But it's so hard to engage on these batteries. It's hard, and when the Void Rays get to this number, it's hard to tell who has more sometimes.
Yes, yeah, I'm trying to keep the units tab open. Right now, DnS has 1 extra. +1 has now started for Goblin, but there's a good 90 seconds to 2 minutes where DnS will have a huge upgrade advantage. And I think DnS is going to pounce the second this happens. You can see him edging forward with his army, having it all selected currently. And, I mean, Goblin, he will maybe be able to supercharge this battery, but it's going to be very difficult because with this amount of Void Rays, they will one-shot once they supercharge.
And now we do see +1 coming in for Goblin, and +1 armor coming in for DnS. This is the PvP we signed up for. We're both sitting on like 1.5 base, Mass Void Ray, the new meta. I mean, this is what we signed up for, and I don't know how we follow up on this. I mean, I feel like it's just going to be DnS eventually, but again, you know, on
Here
top
he
of that,
goes. No, just kidding.
We've seen that like 3 times.
Baited and outsmarted.
Goblin did take down the gas, which is actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the bigger win than that stalker he killed. So.
He's going to get it again, too.
That's
Got
good.
him.
That's a good takedown. That's a good takedown. I will be interested. Oh, we are going to go. We have the overcharge pop for DnS. He's thinking about just going, oh my god, that shield battery's just got to lead it. Now the adepts
vanished. Goblin overcharging 2. Let's open the units down and just watch. DnS is losing so many. Goblin's not lost 1. DnS just lost 6.
Wow. I mean, in this time, the overcharge and the adepts in the mineral line killing 9 workers behind.
Everything.
There's so many Void Rays left over. And he has +1 compared to Goblin's no upgrades. Now he is going to chase, now that there's no supercharge or overcharge Void Rays, and we do have the Omega battery coming in, but the numbers are just in favor of Goblin now.
Yeah. Now, the fuck is happening?
It was funny because it looked originally like it was decent for DnS. I mean, he was right. He had more Void Rays. He had the upgrade edge. He had the Guardian Shield. But then maybe he mistimed the engagement a little bit. He overcharged, and then Goblin just waited out the overcharge and overcharged himself.
The other thing is Goblin is, and you can see he's keeping his Void Rays way more compact than his opponent. Now here comes the fight once again. 7, 6, 5 for DnS, 4 for DnS, 3 for DnS, 7 for 14! Goblin's won!
That is a painful loss for DnS, I can tell you right now. I mean, he had everything. He had the faster expansion, he had the better economy, he really had everything you could have ever asked for, and yet somehow Goblin finds a way. And I will tell you, for a long time in that game, I thought, no, I don't know how Goblin does it. I don't know how he gets out of this. I mean, he's down a Void Ray, not in a great position. The Stargate was later, the upgrades were later.
So I have a quote from the man. I asked, how did you win? You were down an upgrade. And he put, I'm just the effing GOAT.
Oh my god. It's funny because it's like, that exact situation, I mean, that is hard to win. That is hard to win. You know what it was? It was those adepts, man. Those adepts kept shading in and giving him some space at the front. And then just really, I mean, that's the game with Mass Void Ray versus Mass Void Ray. You're just on edge. And one mistake cost you the entire game. And that's exactly what we saw. I mean, just that one mistake from DnS after a lot of right moves. And it cost him the entire game. And that is painful. That is painful because, you know, if you're DnS, you're thinking, I mean, he had that game. He was up voids. He was up upgrades. I mean, it should be 1-0 me. That's a tough one to swallow. Now, I will tell you, Ren, I liked that last game. But I was not rooting for a Void Ray cheese. I'm rooting for like a macro Void Ray build from Goblin.
Oh, I don't know about that.
That's what I want. I want him to just go Mass Void Ray on like 3-4 bases. That's what I'm rooting for.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think you would eventually have to go carries. Depends on how your opponent goes.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm rooting for. We'll see what Goblin does to you. I mean,
Macro
I feel like now that
Void.
you've won a game.
I've asked him. Go on.
Okay. I feel like now that you've won a game, the pressure's off. I mean, you can kind of go for it now. You have a game leeway.
Won a game. I'm actually going to sit here and I'm going to watch Twitch chat right now. And I'm going to see if they can figure it out with their Twitch chat GM skills.
I think in that fight as well, the Guardian Shield was a little bit late for DnS. And he was attacking on top of the batteries, but I don't think that was necessarily his issue right away. And I don't know, man. I mean, that was pain. I feel for DnS because you're playing some shenanigans like that, and you're like, okay, I think I'm doing it, and then you just lose, and you're like, God, I should have won. But
okay, let's do it. Game 2 in the top right, representing Cascade Gaming, France. He's a Red Protoss player. It's DnS.
In the top left, the man who he's making us want to root for him. The more and more he goes Void Ray. It is Team Roddy's Goblin. Now,
It's just impossible not to root for something like this, right?
it really is. I mean, it's one of those things as well where it's incredibly painful to play against. Where you feel,
Yeah.
you almost feel like you're getting cheated out of a game. Where you're like, dude, I can't believe I just lost to this. But you know, it's hard to handle, and I think it's the perfect time right now to pull these builds out before things have really been figured out, before people really know what to do, because people aren't really sure how to handle heavy Void Ray. And I think right now is just the perfect time to be going for builds like this. And I think I would like to see Goblin do it again. Now, do we not have a second gate coming? Is he just going to go Cybercore? And if
Yeah.
I think this is one of his Void Ray builds. We're just going to go Cybercore into a fast tech building.
Look at DnS pre-scouting. I mean, or is he just proxying himself down in this location? It's highly possible that he might proxy a Stargate himself. I think in this location it can only be a hidden pylon just to fake out your opponent or a Stargate. Goblin moving out here for that scout after his cybernetic score, but he is, of course, just one gate expanding, it looks like, yeah? Is this actually going to be macro voids? Because if he does this and loses, I'm going to feel really bad for asking him.
I know he's been doing it a lot on the ladder, so it's like I probably was going to do it anyway, but at the same time, I mean,
trust you. I'm blaming you if that happens.
I'm pretty sure. No, I saw him beat Cristiano on Everdream Mass Void Day. Yeah, we do it against the Stargate, and I mean, it's hard to handle, honestly. Now we do see a scout coming in from Goblin, and probably get a shield battery in his mineral line because at this time you don't really have many units. But like this is that weird place if you're DnS where he's got the expansion and he's got the Stargate, and you're like, well, how do I actually punish this? Because like early Void Ray is coming out, it's hard to punish an early Void Ray coming out actually,
especially with a battery behind it. They're just saying, you know. We see the first Stalker coming out here for Goblin just to defend against any early pressure. He's getting that battery in the front. I do think a battery in the mineral line will be important. He has no pylon in position just yet. Goblin is going to scout that hidden pylon too, and that's an important C for him to see that, okay, this isn't a proxy, it was just one hidden pylon. He sees another pylon going down. Goblin's seeing everything that's happening now, and that first Void Ray already halfway done, being chronoed.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I like this from DnS. Now, he's going, looks like probably for like 8 Stalker or something. He's got the proxy pylon, he's already made, yeah, he's going to go 8 Stalker. He's got 4 Stalkers out, with 2 more coming, and then he's going to warp into Stalkers, but he hasn't expanded, and he's gone Stargate behind this. I'm not sure I like this. I mean, it's going to be really hard. Wow, he's getting a 3rd gateway. He's going all in with this.
Yeah.
Now, he's going to try to force out maybe an early overcharge or something right now, but I mean, defensive Void Rays coming out at this number, I'm not sure you can break a lot of Void Rays. We'll see.
I think once you hit 3 with a battery overcharge as well, it's just, you just can't break it. Goblin is making a Zealot as well. I really like that to buffer and force the micro from the Stalkers. We've not seen any units go down yet. Goblin losing a probe, but that was just one that was out scouting. And I mean, in terms of workers, you can see he is free. He is mining with those 3 extra on his natural. He will be able to transfer later. Very far forward battery here. Goblin can't overextend, but I mean, as long as he gets up to, you know, 3, 4, 5 batteries and a couple of Void Rays, I just can't see him being broken.
Nice control right now from DnS, trying to chip away. Getting some shield damage, forcing out some battery energy, but again, you're not really getting much
Stalker,
material.
can't lose that.
And now we're up to that 3 Void Ray number, and there's just more units coming out for Goblin. There's a lot of Stalkers here, but Stalkers really aren't that great versus Void Rays. And you have batteries, and you have the super battery. This is going to be an incredibly tall task. Now, there was an Oracle killing 4 workers in the main base, forcing all the workers to the natural from Goblin, which is something, I mean, I feel like if you're DnS, you almost just have to give up, but can you give up at this point? I'm not sure you can.
I mean, the expansion's so late. Goblin is actually probing up now as well. He lost a couple there. Going to get the numbers back up. And the thing that makes us so good is Goblin's control of it. he can control these strange small armies so well. And just look, one sap with the Void Ray. Now, the Oracle is in the natural, wreaking havoc once again. The battery providing a lot of cover. It looks like DNS decided to try and pounce in that moment. The Goblin throws down that Void Ray overcharge now and is going to push him back. The Oracle is remaining a threat. I wouldn't even mind if I'm Goblin. Just make one Phoenix. So real quick, you can push away that Oracle, and then he's in a good spot. The stock is getting kind of high though.
Yeah, I'm actually almost starting to like this for DNS. He took an okay engagement there. There's no overcharge. He's getting to a point where he can almost one-shot these Void Rays, killing off batteries right now, and he's got batteries of his own. Wow, it's doing big damage right now. And that Oracle is actually very annoying, finding workers every now and again, making the probes dance. And this is a lot of stalkers. I actually am loving this for DNS all of a sudden, and we have the super battery. He's still going for it a little bit, maybe a little bit courageous, but once the super battery wears off, it is gonna get tough for Goblin.
Problem for DNS is he is gonna mine out pretty soon, and Goblin isn't. Purely and simply, Goblin. Well, he does have a forge as well, so I'm not sure if has he thrown down any cannons? No, not yet. May look to throw down a cannon at some point, or use that forge for some other purpose. The battery count for Goblin is still very good. For DNS, it is a lot lower, but DNS relying more on the one-shot capability here. And looks like a fight coming in, overcharge coming in. Oh my god, the Stalker's melting, but Void Ray's going down.
3 Voids going down for, I don't know, 5 or 6 Stalkers. I think it's okay for Goblin because it's easier to make 3 Stalkers than it is these Void Rays, and the overcharge is going to be down for these Void Rays. And it's just so many Stalkers now, and there's not much left for Goblin on the ground. DNS sensing blood. He's getting so much damage on these Void Rays.
Yeah,
He's sniping another Void Ray. But again, the probe's coming offline again. DNS is on a clock. If he can somehow hold on, if maybe a cannon gets up on the side here, then maybe he can get a little extra damage in. But these batteries starting to run low, but God, man, this is so tense. But there is so many Stalkers. He is going to get the cannon, which actually is a very nice pickoff. Yeah. Only 2 Voiders at the front, as 1 Voider is going to handle the Oracle. DNS might think this is his time to attack, and we do see just chipping away. Nice control from DNS, nice control from both players, really. DNS showing us that, yeah, actually, I think maybe I can break this. And honestly, to me, whether he wins or loses, he's proved to me that, yeah, he can actually do this. I wasn't sure about it, but I actually don't mind, and he is coming in with these Stalkers again. It doesn't feel like there's a lot for Goblin, but there's still Void Rays.
Yeah, Goblin's still having a good amount of Void Rays. He still has a battery overcharge. That's going to come back up pretty soon. He needs energy on his Nexus, which he doesn't currently have, in order to get that one going, but it is available. So he can get that going. He now has cannons too, and I think that's going to add quite a bit to this, because Stalkers, although relatively tanky, they don't want to be taking cannon fire, especially when so many of them are this low. You can see one cannon shot taking about 1/3 of the shields of the Stalker, alongside the other Stalkers and the Void Rays, and it could go down. We see DNS is going to go for it. Stalkers fighting Void Rays, probes coming off the line. It looks like Void Rays will stand strong for now. A lot of probes being forced to fight. There are still 2 Void Rays, and now Goblin has more cannons. I think it's good for Goblin now.
I agree with you. I think just a little bit of miscontrol. He just didn't have the numbers to one-shot those Void Rays, and they ended up shooting 3 Void Rays down to like red health, but none of them died. And now, with all these cannons, I don't think Goblin or DNS can do it anymore. And I think Goblin has made this hold.
Yeah, 2 more Stalkers falling. Goblin's Void Rays stay strong. There's just not enough Stalkers. If there was 2 extra Stalkers, possibly it would have been a different matter. But now we see the Void Rays going to go for it. The Stalker's going for it, and there's nothing left here for DNS.